TIFU by going to the doctor and completely embarrassing myself. For the last couple of days I, 22F, noticed a really bad smell whenever I went to bed. Last night it got so bad it actually woke me up. I sniffed my armpits and the smell was absolutely horrible. It made no sense since I showered the evening before. I got out of bed and sprayed some deodorant on, which helped a little bit. This genuinely concerned me, so I called the DRS office and was able to schedule an appointment for this morning. I took another shower before I went. The doctor checked and didn't smell anything unusual. He told me it might be a reaction to food but wasn't sure what it could be. He asked me to call in a few days to give an update. I went home and I changed my sheets. While doing that, I accidentally knocked over an aloe plant that stood on my nightstand. That's when I noticed the roots of the plant were rotten to the core. I sniffed the plant and I determined that the smell came from there. I was absolutely mortified. I called the DRS office and I had to tell them that the poor man sniffed my armpit for no reason. Besides my stupidity, the assistant told me the doctor was in the office right now, so she put me on the phone with him. I explained the situation and he couldn't control his laughter. I could hear his assistant laughing in the background too. I apologized for wasting his time and for the pit sniff. He said it was all right and that he got a good laugh out of it, so that was a little bit of a relief. But still, I don't think I can ever show my face there again. TLDR. I went to the doctor because I was concerned about a horrible smell coming from my armpits. Doctor sniffed armpit. I later discovered that the smell actually came from a rotten plant on my nightstand. When I called the DRS office to explain, the doctor and his assistant got a good laugh out of my mistake. I'm not gonna lie, aloe plant wasn't the direction I saw this story going. Tears of joy. Trying to imagine the shame of asking a doctor to smell my armpit, but I would 100% do the same thing if I thought what you thought. Rolling on the floor laughing, rolling on the floor laughing. Not only should you show your face there because you are no doubt his favorite patient now, but if, God forbid, you have something very serious to check, you will always be able to say, well, you smelled my armpit, so there are no boundaries between us now. This is fantastic. I needed a chuckle today. I'll share my stupid moments. Several times I've tried to hop out of a car with the seat belt on. Last time I did that, I was in a car full of friends where I just about decapitated myself and had to have one of them unhook the belt. In between their laughter, of course. Be glad I have a horrible smell coming from my armpit, legit, cuz it's a lil nasty rash there. I get rashes that stink in my pits because of certain soaps. Your story is funny though, lol. You are good wholesome person. Don't ever change. Glad you found the culprit. Don't be embarrassed. Random things happen all the time, and while I might not be in a doctor's office, I do work in a pharmacy. And these random little moments often make our day. You brought some laughter and happiness to people who have incredibly busy and long days, and there's nothing about that to be ashamed of. Don't worry about going back either. I had a very embarrassing moment with my doctor when my meds made me constipated. I ended up having a huge thrombosed hemorrhoid that she had to remove in office, and she even commented it was the biggest she had ever seen. Which made me want to die right there from embarrassment, lol. But now it's just a joke between us. She needed to see my leg for a mole I got and asked, "Can I see your leg?" I just laughed and responded with, "Well, you've seen my butthole, so I think showing you my leg will be easy enough." And we both just laughed. About 15 years ago, I had a boot on my right ankle to see if we could avoid surgery to fix a fracture that was missed when I'd sprained it in the past. The Thursday after getting the boot, I was going down the steps to my car, fell down, and sprained my left ankle. The next morning, because I couldn't put any weight on it, I called my ankle doc to see about going in. When I explained to the receptionist that it wasn't a follow-up for the right ankle, but a new sprain on my left ankle, I could hear her holding back the laughter as she made my appointment. Then, when I saw the doctor, he opted to put me in an air cast for my left ankle, and still the boot on the right. He may have smiled a bit when he said he'd had patients with boots on both feet, but he didn't think it would be a good idea for me. Oh, and then I got tendinitis in my right wrist from sticking my hand out to break the fall. So, not a stinky story, but still embarrassing, nonetheless. Especially showing up at work with an air cast, a boot, and a wrist splint. If he is a good drive, keep him. Good ones are hard to come by. He has seen a lot worse. This is great. It reminds me of when my kid took his pet rat to school in his pencil case and forgot about it. Wife and I spent all of that night looking around the house since he was crying that it escaped. Teacher called us the next morning because of the smell. Entire class was distraught. Thought to myself, better a rat than one of our reptiles. Could have ended not with a sniff but a yelp. I did something sort of similar, but with a vet and my cat. One of my cats is overweight and used to be 16 pounds. With a completely average-sized frame. At one point, I was rubbing his belly and I felt a hole in his muscle. I start freaking out, right? I feel all over my other cats and I don't feel anything like that at all. So I make a vet appointment immediately. When I take him in, I show it to them, only to be told that it's where his umbilical cord used to be and it's pronounced because he's so fat. It was a long while before I stopped feeling a bit embarrassed. Skull. You were concerned. You did the right thing. You found the issue. Doctor office got a good laugh. This whole day was a win. Oh, and you got clean sheets. I'm a nurse. Smelling stinky body parts is just part of the job. Keep going. As someone who works in the medical field, I'm sure they needed that laugh. And they will not only remember you now, but it may help you out in the future. May get called before others for a last-minute cancellation appointment or get the good gentle staff when you need an injection for anything. We can't do much for special treatment for a plethora of reasons. But I know I go out of my way for my nice, funny, kind patients when I can. Oh my, I had that happen to an aloe plant too. It was horrible. When I figured out it was the plant, it dropped yellow stinky goo everywhere on the way to the trash. Practically had to set everything on fire to get rid of the smell. I thought I needed to get my A1C checked because my Lee smelled really sweet. It was the coconut reed diffuser on the shelf behind the toilet. I am a nurse practitioner. I was once convinced I had diabetes. I'd lay in bed and smell something sweet. Every night, I'd roll and sniff my clothes, the bedding. I couldn't pinpoint it, but the smell was always there. I checked Dr. Google and saw that a sweet smell coming from the body could be a sign of the diabetes. I made a doc appointment to be checked, but I couldn't get in for a couple of weeks. Smell continued to haunt me. One night, I knocked my phone on the floor and had to get under the bed to retrieve it, along with my phone and dust bunnies. I found a jar candle on its side with the lid off. Waffles and syrup saved me a copay. Our succulents would love a good overwatering story, and they don't get much better than this. This story just might win the internet for today. Well done. How much did it cost you for the doctor to smell your armpit?
If you enjoyed this video, please check out our playlists full of similar content. Epic Haircast is like doom scrolling for your ears. Please like, share, and subscribe.